whether you're embodied or you're discarnate, you are that soul. That is the eternal nature of who you are. And that's, again, what connects us all. And what I believe God is, I believe God is an energy of love. Okay. So people call it all sorts of things. You know, we can call it anything. You can call it source, universe, divine spirit, supreme being, mother, father, God. But it's love at the end of the day. And right. And so that is essentially like when we're in our higher selves, that's how we can all connect to each other on that same wavelength of that. And that's where unity consciousness comes in, right? Because right now, I mean, we can all feel it. We're in a 3D earthly existence, and 3D energy of this earth plane is filled with the opposite of unity consciousness. It's separation, segregation, it's duality, polarity, contrast. And so in this realm, it feels very foreign to our innate eternal self, that soul, right? And so when I connect with spirits on the other side, they're in the 5D energies, at least the ones I connect to. You know, there's all different levels of in planes of existence, but I only work with those in the 5D heavenly realm. And they're seeing us unsettled and sometimes forgetting who we are really, which is divine sparks of light. We're soul, and where we come from and why we're here. And so they are coming through to comfort us and to reassure us we're not alone. We're all connected not only to that source energy, but we're connected to our team spirit, which is all of your angels and guides, departed loved ones who are there. They're there to assist you. So that's an overall of what I'm doing.
But I mean, you said so many big things there, you know, the remembering, the love. I mean, I'm curious when you're talking about this, because I've actually had two really big conversations this week about the remembering and the oneness and the separation and the duality and all that stuff. And as when we're here, we want to keep that separateness because then we don't exist in this form. So we have this problem of coming back to one, and that we keep coming back here to be separate, and we don't necessarily become one until we're done having that individual experience. That was one thing that came to mind when you were talking about. And then I had another discussion, which we can get into both of these topics, just about love, like how like there's so much like dislike for our own selves. We're so self-critical and things like that. And I'm wondering, when you were talking, are we in a foreign place? Like we don't know how to accept that love here? Like, is that where that disconnect comes in? Because we are living in a world of such duality where that love isn't as present, that's that why we struggle to love ourselves and find that unconditional love from one another?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's like 50 places we could go with it. I love it.
These are two big questions. I know, right?
Yeah, but you're speaking my language. I love it. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is the levels of consciousness. We are all vibrating at different levels of consciousness. You know, in the book I just wrote, What's Your Heaven, I included Dr. David Hawkins. He created this scale of consciousness, and it's based on your emotions. And at the bottom of the totem pole are all the fear-based emotions. And at the top, and then in the middle is neutrality. And above that goes all the way to the top, which is love. So at the end of the day, there's really only two emotions. It's love or fear. And so when you're not in a place of unity, oneness, connected to your 5D self, that higher self part of you, you can slip into the ego, which goes to your first question. You know, ego is edging God out. I remember Wayne Dyer once saying that, and it always stuck with me because, yeah, we are here to have the human experience, an individual experience, but there's a new 5D way of doing things. We don't have to just come into this world of contrast to learn through contrast and opposites and separation. We can, if we choose to plug into the 5D energies of love, of unity consciousness, we can learn our life lessons with grace, ease, joy, connection, oneness, and not so much pain and suffering and struggle. That's the old earth. And I think what's going on is more and more people, their levels of consciousness are waking up. They're evolving. You know, the energy on the planet is literally changing. Scientists have measured it. And there's more light on the planet, which means there's more opportunity for us to download these light codes, to awaken to that soul memory or knowing that's innate within us, and to then embody it. But we have to do the work. So many people are walking around unconscious. And when you're
Yeah.
unconscious, you go on autopilot, you go into default, and that's where our shadows start. We start shadow dancing, right? Our
Mm-hmm.
shadow, our unhealed parts or frightened parts of our personalities, the childhood wounds, the past life wounds, the baggage, the intergenerational patterns and programming passed down from our ancestors. That's where we start acting those out. And the whole goal of our soul is to heal and balance karma, whether it's our own or ancestral. And so what's happening on the planet, there's so much suffering and so much pain and darkness. So we can acknowledge it and we can choose
Mm-hmm.
to align with it, or we can choose to align with the light and make choices
Mm-hmm.
from the frequency of light and raise our consciousness. And that's how we become the light. And that's how you hear light workers, star seeds, all these
Yeah.
enlightened, I also call them earth angels, people on the planet here to raise the consciousness of the planet back to a higher place of love. And so anyone listening to this is probably one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of those people. Like, if you feel
Yeah.
a need to educate people or to talk about these spiritual truths, there's a part of your soul waking up.